Dear children, today's topic is determination of Planck's constant and work function. You know the Einstein's photoelectric equation. So from that equation we can find out the Planck's constant H and work function. So Einstein's photoelectric equation is K maximum equal to H nu minus phi 0. Then if V0 is the stopping potential, we can write maximum kinetic energy equal to EV0. Then substitute in the first equation, so we get EV0 equal to H nu minus phi 0. So from this we can write V0 equal to H by E into nu minus phi 0 by E. Okay. So this equation is similar to the straight line equation y equal to mx plus c, where y represents the V0, m represents the h by e, it is a constant, V0 is the variable. Then x represents the nu, it is also variable, and the c represents minus phi 0 by e, that is also a constant. So here the variable quantities are V0 and nu. So when you draw the graph between V0 and nu, we get a straight line graph like this. Okay. So from this straight line graph, that is V0 is directly proportional to nu. So we get the straight line graph. So from this straight line graph, from the slope of the straight line we can find out the Planck's constant H, and from the intercept of the graph we can find out the phi 0. So here slope of this graph V0 nu graph, that is equal to H by E. So to find out this slope, we consider 2 points A and B. That is, from this, when you connect this A and B, we get a right angle triangle like this. That is the AC and the BC. So this AC represents the V0 and the BC represents the nu. So AC by BC, that is equal to, what is AC? That is the V0, and what is BC? That is equal to nu. Okay, so from the first equation, V0 by nu, okay, V0 upon nu, that is equal to H by E. So that H by E is the slope of the graph. So from the graph we can write tan theta equal to AC by BC, that is equal to V0 by nu, that is equal to H by E. So from this we get the Planck's constant H. H equal to E into AC by BC. What is AC by BC? That is equal to slope of the V0 nu graph. Therefore, Planck's constant H equal to E into slope of V0 nu graph. Similarly, the graph intercept on the vertical axis, there we get the constant minus phi 0 by E. So, intercept on the vertical axis equal to minus phi 0 by E. Therefore, phi 0 equal to E into magnitude of the intercept on the vertical axis. Clear? So, in this way we can find out the work function phi 0. So by measuring the slope of V0 nu graph for sodium and using the known values of E, R.A. Millikan determined the values of H and phi 0 for sodium. For this he was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1923, that is for this work and for the photoelectric effect. Clear? Next topic, dual nature of radiation. The phenomena like interference, diffraction and polarization etc. can be explained only on the basis of wave nature of light. But the phenomena like photoelectric effect, Compton effect etc. can be explained only in terms of quantum theory of light, that is the particle nature of light. This shows that light radiation has dual nature. That is, it sometimes behaves as a wave or sometimes behaves as a particle. So what is the dual nature of matter according to de Broglie? So in 1924, the French scientist Louis Victor de Broglie, pronunciation de Broglie, Okay. Put forward the hypothesis that the material particles in motion should display wave-like properties. His reasoning was based on the following two considerations. So here he says that when the particles are in motion, they shows the wave-like properties. They shows the waveform. So this explanation is based on following two considerations. So the first consideration, that is the two physical quantities which govern all the forms of the physical universe are mass and energy. That is according to the mass energy, Einstein's mass energy relationship, that is E equal to mc square. That is the two physical quantities which govern all the forms of the universe are mass and energy. That is according to Einstein's equation E equal to mc square. So this shows that there is a complete equivalence between matter and energy. Matter means it is the mass and radiation means energy. So there must be a mutual symmetry between the matter and the radiation. That is, all the physical quantities consist of mass and energy. That is matter and radiation. Matter and radiation, or mass and energy. Then the second consideration is nature loves symmetry. So according to de Broglie, radiation has a dual nature. So therefore, from symmetry considerations, de Broglie predicted that matter must also possesses dual nature. That is, mass also possesses dual nature. Because of this, the particles like electrons, protons, neutrons, etc. should not only behave like mass, but they should also exhibit wave nature when in motion. Okay, so according to him, he says that when radiation has dual nature, then mass has also dual nature. So this is the symmetry consideration. Okay. The waves associated with material particle in motion are called matter waves or de Broglie waves, and their wavelength is called de Broglie wavelength. Then what is the de Broglie wave equation? So from these two considerations, de Broglie found out the equation for the wavelength of the radiation. So according to him, he considered that a photon as an electromagnetic wave of frequency nu, its energy from Planck's quantum theory is written as E equal to h nu. Okay. Then similarly, he considered the photon as a particle. First he considered that photon as an electromagnetic wave, so its energy E equal to h nu. Secondly, he considered photon as a particle of mass m, so its energy is, according to Einstein's mass energy relationship, E equal to mc square. So from these two equations, we can write h nu equal to mc square, where nu equal to z by lambda. So substitute here h into z by lambda. Okay, then we can cancel this c, then we get lambda equal to h by mc, that is equal to h by p. So this equation represents the equation for a photon of radiation. Equation, that is the wavelength of photon of radiation. That is, lambda is the wavelength of radiation of frequency nu, and p equal to mc, it is the moment, that is the momentum of the photon. So this equation represents the equation for a photon of radiation. Clear? Then next here, if you are considering a particle of mass m moving with velocity v, then its wavelength is associated. That means its wavelength we can write lambda equal to h by p, that is equal to h by mv. So this equation represents the wavelength of a particle. Okay, particle of the matter wave. So this is the de Broglie wave equation for the material particle, lambda equal to h by p, that is equal to h by mv. This is the de Broglie wave equation for material particle. So he explains the dual nature of matter. Clear? So Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. According to the principle, it is not possible to measure both position and momentum of a subatomic particle like electron at the same time exactly. There is always some uncertainty in the specification of position and some uncertainty in the specification of momentum. The product of delta x and delta p must be greater than or equal to h by 4 pi. So this equation allows the possibility that there is some possibilities are there. The possibilities are when delta x is 0, but then delta p must be infinite in order that the product is non-zero. Similarly, if delta p is 0, delta x must be infinite. If both delta x and delta p are non-zero such that their product is of the order of h by 4 pi. This is the possibilities. Now, if an electron has a definite momentum p, that is delta p equal to 0, then by the de Broglie relation, it has a definite wavelength lambda. A wave of definite wavelength extends all over the space, that is shown in the figure. A wave of definite wavelength extends all over the space. This means that the electron is not localized in any finite region of space. That is, its position uncertainty is infinite, which is consistent with the uncertainty principle. Clear? That is delta p, it has a definite momentum, so change in momentum delta p equal to 0. If it has a definite momentum, it has a definite wavelength. So it extends all over the space, that is an extended wave, which means that electron is not localized in any finite region. So this represents that the position is infinity. Clear? So that is the uncertainty principle. So de Broglie relation is inconsistent with the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Then, in general, the matter wave associated with the electron is not extended all over the space. It is a wave packet extending over some finite region in space. In that case, delta x is not infinite but has some finite value. It has a fixed value, it has the non-zero value depending on the extension of the wave packet. So that represents the localized wave. So here the lambda is not fixed, but it has a central wave and the wave extends at the two ends of this central wave. Lambda is not fixed. So if lambda is not fixed, then p is not fixed. So delta p is a non-zero value, but the position is not infinity. So there is an uncertainty in position and in momentum. So here the electron is localized in a finite region. So that represents the localized wave. Okay, so in this way de Broglie relation is inconsistent with the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So in general we can say that we cannot find the exact position and momentum of a wave at the same time. Clear? De Broglie wavelength of an electron. So you deduce the expression for the de Broglie wavelength of an electron accelerated through a potential difference of V volt. So for that you consider an electron of mass m and charge E. P be the final velocity attained by the electron when it is accelerated from rest through a potential difference of V volt. So it gain a kinetic energy. So the kinetic energy gained by the electron equals the work done by the electron, work done on the electron by the electric field. That is, kinetic energy of the electron is equal to the work done. So we can write the kinetic energy gained by the electron. Okay, kinetic energy gained by the electron. That is K equal to half m v square. Then multiply and divide by m, then we get m square v square divided by 2m. So that is equal to p square divided by 2m. So kinetic energy in terms of momentum, p square by 2m. So from this equation you find out the de Broglie wavelength lambda. Then what is the kinetic energy is equal to the work done on the electron by the electric field. Okay. So we can write the work done. So the work done on the electron is accelerated on the electric field. So the work done on the electron by the electric field, that is equal to E into V. That is work done equal to Q into V. You already studied that. So here the charge of the electron, that is the E into V. So from the above equation we can write K equal to P square by 2m, that is equal to E into V. V is the potential difference. So from this equation we can write the momentum P. Okay, P equal to P square equal to 2mk. Therefore P equal to root of 2mk or root of 2m into EV. Okay, these are the two equations of momentum in terms of kinetic energy and the volt. P equal to root of 2mk equal to root of 2m EV. Then what is the de Broglie wavelength of an electron? You studied that. That is lambda equal to h by p. So what is the p here? That is h divided by root of 2mk, that is equal to h divided by root of 2m EV. Clear? Then now substitute the values of h equal to 6.63 into 10 raised to minus 34 joules second. Then m equal to 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 kilogram. Then E equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. Okay. Then by substituting all these values, you will get the de Broglie wavelength. That is a V. Volt is changing. Potential difference is changing. So you will get the answer by substituting the constant values. You will get the answer lambda equal to 12.3 into 10 raised to minus 10 divided by root V. Clear? That is equal to 12.3 divided by root V angstrom. So here you can write it in meter. So otherwise you can write it in angstrom. So de Broglie wavelength of an electron is equal to 12.3 into 10 raised to minus 10 divided by root V meter or 12.3 divided by root V angstrom. If you substitute V equal to 120 volt, suppose the electron is accelerated through a potential difference of to 120 volt, then we get the answer lambda equal to 0.112 nanometer. Okay. So once again, how will you calculate the de Broglie wavelength of an electron? You are considering that electron is accelerated through a potential difference of V volt. So it has a kinetic energy, it gained a kinetic energy. That kinetic energy is equal to the work done on the electron. Then kinetic energy, you know that is half mv square. Then write the kinetic energy in terms of momentum and the equation for the work done. Then equate the two equations. Then we get the momentum in terms of kinetic energy and the potential difference. Then according to the de Broglie equation, lambda equal to h by p. Then substitute the value of p. Then we will get the answer lambda equal to 12.3 by root v angstrom. So this is the equation for the de Broglie wavelength of an electron. Clear?